This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, very good morning to all. One person new today, Lakshmi. Okay, you can attend the session. Already we completed one session yesterday. That is a registration part of React. Installation part of the React. Srinivas will share the video recording that, right? Okay, let's session. So last session we install the software. Now in this session, let me check the programming basics of React.js, how to execute a file, how to write the code, where to save the file, and how can we modify the files and all we are going to see now. Okay. Now the thing is here, very important, we need to know. First, let me tell you the execution flow. Generally, yesterday after installing, we open the browser window. We have typed localhost colon 3000. After that, we are able to see some output. What is this output? So how the output is coming, from which file the output is coming, and all we have to know, right? Let me do one thing. What is the project we created yesterday? Now you need to check it. The project we created. Let me go and check this. 1 minute. I created a project in D drive with the name projects, and in this folder we have a folder I created, React 8am. This is the folder I created. Okay, we are in the D drive actually. Now we have to go to this. First of all, if you want to open the project, first we have to run the server only. Without running server, we can't execute the things. Okay. Now, let me open command prompt. In this command prompt, right now I'm in the C drive. I need to jump to D drive because my software was installed in D drive. I mean, React was installed in D drive. D colon, hit enter. Now you are in the D drive. CD space, I have a, CD space projects, right? CD space, the project and the React 8am. This is the folder we created yesterday. Right now, we have to run the server only. To run the server, we have a following command called npm start. Open the browser command, and here I am writing npm start. Okay, hit enter. It will take some time initially, at least 3 to 4 5 minutes it will take. So let us see. So once this is started, meanwhile, let me open my editor. So where is the code you have yesterday? We have to go here, open folder. Click on open folder. So this is the Visual Studio Code editor we are using. Here, just go to this file and click on open folder, and you can select the project we created yesterday. I think my project was in D drive. There is a projects folder. In this projects folder, I have a project with name called React 8am. Okay, let me select the folder. Now wait for some time. You can see the React 8am related project files. We installed, right, the software, all the files, whatever we install, and we can get here. So now my server is started running. Let me go and check this. Yeah, it is started running. So wait for a minute. So after that, without running the server, you can run do anything and localhost colon 3000. If you can run this, you cannot see any output as of now. Why? Because your server is still in running mode. So you have to run the server, then only you can see any of the output on the screen. So anyhow, I opened the files here. We have three major folders, node modules. I already told you yesterday. This node modules folder is nothing but it's a package manager. What are all the packages or modules which are required for our React application that are going to be saved there? Even if you can install a small package or small module, everything will be saved in node modules only. Public is the startup folder here actually. What is a startup folder? I will tell you. After that, src, where we can keep each and every file, and you are going to create files, right? You have to create a file where we have to save it. Every file will be saved in the source folder. So you can create so many number of files, any number of files, I don't know, but everything will be saved under src folder. Let me check, my server is running still. Sometimes it may be stuck and you can press any of the key. Sometimes I will press control s or control f5, something I will do. So server is running. So now open the browser window. Now you can see, earlier we didn't see any output, it taking some time. Now you are able to see some logo is rotating. I don't know where this logo is coming. Now you can see edit src folder app.js. They are saying like this: edit src app.js and save to reload. This is what the people are saying, that if you want to learn React, you can click this. We can go to the React.js official website, and this is reactjs.org, right? So you, to get the things, we can get started, and we can see the concepts you can find left right side completely. So this is the concept you have in the right side, Andy. Just by clicking these concepts, I think you will get the things clear. There's the main concept, advanced guides, API reference, hooks, testing, contribute all. This is the part. Installation we already discussed, right? Don't worry about it. The main concepts in the React, these are the main concepts, Andy, right? Hello world program, JSX, rendering elements, components and props, state lifecycle, handling events, conditional rendering, list and keys, forms, lifting the state up, composition versus inheritance, thinking in React. These are the basic concepts, and these are the advanced concepts, Sandy. Right? Some concepts are there here. Higher order component, mostly asked in interview, right? So integrating third-party libraries, portals, profiler, JSX in depth, something. And one more is very, very important, the hooks, Andy. There are hooks, some hooks are there, and these hooks are the mostly used hooks in real time. So we will check those also. Okay, right. Okay, so this we will see later, but anyhow, we will discuss everything. If you have free time, you can go to the tutorial and you can learn something theoretically also here, right? Okay, let me come to our application. So what these people are saying, that src app.js. Okay, let me go to my src folder here. This is the src folder. Here you are able to see anywhere app.js. First one is app.css. We don't need anything actually here. The second one is going to be the app.js, and this is the file we need. Okay, let me click the app.js. Can you see, Andy? There is something is there in this. This is the HTML code we are looking. Class name app. Oh, this is header. Something header is open here. Header is closed here. Where is that logo? Oh, ho, IMG SRC, Andy. IMG SRC, here they passed something called logo. The logo path will be loaded from that image, and here they will load the image actually here. Import logo from SVG. I will tell you later how can we add images to our React application, but just you can see. So this is what exactly the thing we are able to see. What I will do, let me do one thing. Whatever the thing we are having, I am removing the header, and nothing is there. I'm saving the file. Let me go and refresh the browser. If you can refresh the browser, will you get anything, Andy? I'm refreshing. Okay, if you can refresh. Oh, I'm not able to see anything, and it's gone. And moreover, sometimes you will get some suggestions, Andy. Logo is defined but never used on line number 1 to 8. Can you go and check this? Line number 1, and this is line number 1, Andy. What they are saying there, you have defined some variable but you are not using anywhere. Then this is come under unused variables. So remove this, no problem. So we are not displaying image now, so we don't want that, Andy. Right? So now you can see there is no errors also, I believe, in the console. You can check this. Your console is very clear, so we don't have any errors. And always, Andy, when you are working with React.js, be careful. Always press F12 or else right click on inspector, right? So we can come to here. You can check the console, Andy, not elements, console. Why I'm telling you, it is React. We are in the development mode. Not only for React.js, AngularJS or Node.js or Vue.js, any JS you guys are learning, always try to open this console. Whenever we are running, if you have any errors, we can see these errors. Sometimes errors may not be displayed on the screen, but we can see the errors in the console, Andy. Those errors we can see and we can fix it. Now you can see earlier I kept logo now. So 1 minute, where is this is? We have a logo earlier. Now you can see that message we can see in the console, Andy. Can you see what is the message? This is a warning message you are getting. Now you can see The warning message was like this. Something line number 1 to 8 logo is defined but never used. So this will become under unused variables, the error category. Okay. So what we need to do, always our console should be very clean. And now you can see how my console is there. It's very clear, right? We don't have any warnings, any errors you should not get while running a React application. Should careful, Andy. So it's very, very important. You need to check it. Okay, this is fine for me. So localhost colon 3000 we're in, right? We don't have any errors in the console. Okay, now in this do tag, I want to write something, Andy. What is this code and all? I will tell you later. Nothing. They asked me to edit SRC. I went to edit app.js. I went to that SRC app.js. I'm editing it. Later, I will show you how can we create a file, where to save the file, why the people created a file like this. Is this is the only way of creating a file? No, we have so many ways are there, but just they created a file. The function app, the name of the function is the app, and in the function they have written, in this written they are writing some HTML code. Okay, why they are doing, we will discuss, but let us see. Here I'm writing with a h1 tag open, h1 tag close. I'm writing simply welcome to React. Okay, simply I'm writing like this, Andy. If you can refresh the page, can you see, Andy? Welcome to React, you are getting on the screen now. Earlier there was a logo, the logo is rotated. So if you want that logo, yes, we can bring that logo, Andy, no problem. So earlier we have logo now, some logo we have, right? If you want, that is a logo we have, and you can check this h1 tag open close. I'm writing this is a welcome to React. Now you will get the welcome to React. Under the logo you want to display, sorry, under the title you want to display the logo. Yes, you can take IMG SRC. Earlier everything is a black screen. This time this is not going to be the thing, Andy. But one thing, Andy, I will tell you here. I am taking this operator. We will talk about this. Wait for some time, right? Generally, in React, we have a concept called JSX. This is a very, very important concept that I will talk about later. But don't worry, right now, I just want to talk the logo, Andy. That the logo. Logo is imported on the top right. The logo variable I'm taking here. Now you can see logo is displayed on the screen, something like this. Okay, logo is too big, right? So if you want to change height and width, yeah, we can write normally how we can do in HTML and CSS. Now you can do the same job, on height and width equal to, I just want to take this as a 150 by 150. So this is common. This is no need to change anything. The properties are going to be common. Welcome to React. Under that, we have the logo only. So whatever you want to edit, we can edit it, Andy. Okay, na? Right. Generally, React having collection of files, Andy. Files ante for every functionality, we can create one file, registration, one file, login, one file, contact form, one file. Like this, for every functionality, we can create multiple files, right? Website means it is a combination of multiple functionalities, right? We will create multiple files, but every file should be saved under SRC folder. Okay, one more thing, this is SRC. Hmm? How this file is showing output, and in the browser I'm not writing anything, and I'm simply writing localhost 3000. I'm not mentioning SRC. Generally I'm not mentioning SRC, I'm not mentioning app.js, or I'm not mentioning anything. Okay, but it is still giving the output, and okay now. So you cannot mention like this actually. Even though if you can mention, it won't works properly. Localhost colon 3000 only. But my question is here, how the output came, how the relation, who calls this app.js, from where the output is coming and all, we have to check. And please check this carefully. This is your public folder. We are able to see some files. This is your SRC folder. We are able to see some files. Okay. So let me show you diagrammatically. So let me open the paint. So I want to explain you how the request will go to SRC and how the output will come to the browser window. Right. First, you have opened the browser. This is the browser. Let us consider this is the browser, and this is our React application. Let us consider this is our React app. We set it now, right? So in the browser window, what we are doing, we are typing localhost colon 3000, and this is the browser window. In the browser window, what I am typing, I'm going to type http colon slash slash localhost colon 3000. You hit enter. On hit enter, you are able to see some output here on the screen, right? So how this will be displayed, Andy? So when you hit enter, first the request will go to this, Andy, right? You hit enter, right? So you on hit the submit button, first the request will go to the React application. This is our React application. The name of the React application we created is going to be React 8am, Andy. This is the folder we have. React 8am folder, it went. This is the name of the folder we created and we in the D drive. So in the in this, if we can check this, there are two major folders, Sunday. What are the two major folders we have? One is public folder, one is src folder. I told you all the source files will be saved here, right? Let us assume this is a public folder, Andy. This is a public folder. Okay, public public folder, and this is going to be src folder. So we seen this src folder contains some files, and you can check this app.js. There is a file is there, capital A, app.js, app.js, and some files are there. And can you see there are some files are there? Let me take this as a finally one more file is there, that is called index.js. Like this we have so many files are there, app.js, and like this, and we have so many files are there. And in this also we have so many files, but we don't want to consider everything, but I want to consider only one file called index.html. Remember? Okay, now right, Andy, can you see how this linking is going to be happen? You are hitting submit button by typing URL in the URL on the URL address bar, localhost. You hit enter. On submit, request went to React application 8am. In this, actually, we have some code now. So actually, in this React application, this app.js file is having some code. Actually, we written some code, right? How the file is executing? On hit localhost 3000, will it come directly to this file? Is it correct way? I think I just want to tell you. So the request will come to this page directly? No, Andy. This is not the way of coming directly into it. First, remember the request will go to, from here you submitted, right? From here, once you submitted, the request will go to public folder. Inside, it will execute index.html, and in index.html, there is one element and in the body, right? Let us see div id equal to root and okay, this is the div, an element will be there. That's all. We don't have anything in this div id root. Where this is in index.html. Let me open index.html. Now you can see I'm just opening index.html. Can you see, Andy? Okay, this is all head section. This is meta information, meta link. Okay, so this is all the meta only. We don't have anything. Don't worry, no need to touch it. This is the title of the React. Up to here head section, Andy, line number 28. Let me minimize the head section here. So now you can see the body section. I'm just minimizing, Andy. Head section, don't bother about it. Just minimize the head section. Now can we see? This is the body section. There is some comment in the body, no problem. If you see, I'm telling you there is some comment, right? Please be patient and try to read the comments, Sunday. Very, very important. The comments will provide you very meaningful information. This HTML file is a template. If you open it directly in the browser, you will see an empty page. Okay, you can add web fonts, meta tags, or analytics to this file. The build step. So we'll place the bundle scripts into the body tag. Okay, to begin the development, run npm start and so they are saying that we did initially na or earn start, but earn is not required for us. Just to go with npm only. To create a production bundle, use npm run build. Actually, this is not required, Andy. Don't worry. Okay, this is not required right now. Okay, right. So this is the thing. At here, I'm able to find a div element called the id equal to root, Andy. Remember carefully. This root element generally in JavaScript, everybody know, right? How can we access an element, Andy? In JavaScript by using its ID. You know very well. Document dot get element by ID na element by ID. What is the ID we are having? Root, Andy. This is the way of getting element, right? Exactly. This is the way of getting all the elements, right? So now what happened? Try to see here the request. Once you hit enter in the browser, immediately request will go to index.html, and Okay, request will go to index.html. It will identify an element root and we have to access this element document.getElement by id root. This will be done in index.js and in index.js. Immediately request will go for from src folder, from public folder the request will jump to src folder and so immediately see first you hit enter na, so on submit it will go to public, from public it will go to index.js. Let me open index.js and let me see what is the code we have there. Index.js and whatever the element you have defined here in the index.html, that element will accessed by the following element here and can you see document.get element by id root and so here React DOM render is a predefined method. Don't worry, React DOM render is a predefined method. So in this predefined method, they are loading app.js and can you see they are importing app.js. Actually, this is app.js. Once that is imported, this is the name of the app, the same app where they are going to add this Sunday. Okay, what I want to tell you, for example, you may have some confusion here, maybe I'm thinking. So we are getting this is look like a inner html and in javascript. So react dom render, we are collecting the app is nothing but the file and this is the file we have, whatever the code we have in this is the name of the file. What is the name of the file? Can you see? Once this is created app.js, we are writing export default app now, right? Because of writing export here, then only we can import. You can see here they are importing import app and what is the name they provided here? Export default app na, what is the name they provided here? The same name it will become here, import app from app.js. .js is not required and even if you can add .js, okay, no problem. Okay, you can add like this also, but it is not required. Simply you can leave it like this, right? Now you can see this is once the app is installed, we will do like this. Now from here it will go to right app file and so what is going to be happen, the flow will be like this. From here it will go to app.js. In index.js what we loaded app.js, the document.getElement by id that was there in the react dom render. Now you can check this is the code they written here and you can simply check this in the editor. This is the react dom dot render. So the code will be kept it here and now you can check this in index.js. They have some code. The code is nothing but react dom dot render and this is what exactly the code was there. Okay, simply you can check this. This is the react dom dot render and some code was kept there, right? Let us take this, right? Exactly this is. So the element we are accessing here and public underscore in the index.html we have an id. So that root we are able to access in the index.js. This is the app.js and can you see the app.js was pointed exactly. I want to do something like this is the app component and the app component was placed here actually. From here, the output will be transferred to the browser. First, if you can type localhost colon 3000, from there request will received by the public folder. From there, it will go for SRC. SRC, initially, index.js will be load the data and it will load the other components. And actually, here app.js is a file. Na? Actually, we can call that as a root component. What is a root component? First of all, we have to know what is a component. So then what is a root component? We will talk about this, okay? Right, everything we will discuss later in the things. So this is the application flow only. Okay, but remember now how the flow was executed. This is the way of executing the flow. And now we can see one thing. Just give me a
So,
minute.
so the
Yeah,
React DOM
please.
was inside the React DOM was inside index.js or app.js, sir.
It should be index.js only now. See, we
Okay,
open the file. Where is the react dom.render method is there? Render method is inside index.js only.
okay,
In this index.js, we are loading component and app.js.
okay, okay,
Okay, actually, see, we have browser. Hmm? In the browser, it will go to index.html. Index.html. Index.html will send the request to index.js. right? From index.js, we'll send the output to app.js. This is the flow, simply says. Whatever the code we written in the app.js, that code will be sent to, that output will be sent to index.js. Index.js will send the output to index.html. This will be displayed in the browser. I mean, we have to take the direction like this, I believe. This is good way. So you can take the output like this. This is the flow, right? How the things will be go. But the document render method, I mean, React DOM dot render, and there is a predefined method. Actually, this is the React library. React DOM dot render is a predefined. It's a predefined method actually. It has two parameters only. The component you want to display, what is the component we have to display? This is the app component we want to display, and where we want to display. Document dot get element by ID. What is the ID? This is the thing we have ID and actually, you know that this code was written in index.js. This code was written in index.js. This code. Where is this ID root and this root was defined in the index.html. This was in root. Here root is defined here. In index.js, what they define? React DOM they defined and React DOM they defined here. So output will be come from whatever the code we are writing in the app.js, that will be come into as an output and this is what exactly we have the concept React DOM dot render. Okay, so this is what exactly the concept. You can check this, right? That is the application flow. Slowly, what you need to do, you have to check the things clearly, Andy. React strict mode is predefined. React DOM render is predefined. App.js is not predefined, Andy. This is the file you can also change it because it is a component. Component means that we are going to create it, so we don't want to worry about it. Okay, right? So in this app.js, whatever you created, everything is under our control. So everything is in your control. The file name is app.js now. No, I don't want to make it app.js, sir. I want to make it welcome.js. Yes, you can make it welcome.js, no problem. You can see I'm changing this as a welcome. You can actually, what is the name of the component? Welcome. What is the export default role? Should be welcome only. Whatever the function you have defined here, that function should be exported. I will tell you later. Okay, don't worry. uh, I will talk about how to create a component, how to call the component also, we will see. Okay, generally let me talk about this Sunday. Component, you can go to React, you can go to Angular, we can use the word commonly, component, component, component. What is a component? What is a component? Simply, a component is nothing but Andy, a component is nothing but a file and a small file, that's all. What is a file? I want to write in one more way. A component is nothing but a small functionality, one work and one work is nothing but one functionality, small functionality. A component is nothing but a small work and work. Work is nothing but register form is a work, login form is a work, task whatever it may be, you can take anything, small task also I can tell you. A component is nothing but a small task only, one work, one task, one functionality, everything is same meaning. What a component will have? A component will have some code. What is the code will do? That code will display registration form, that code will display a login form, that code will display some other functionality. The code, the component will display the registered users of the database, right? Every component will go and do different job, and each and every component that we are going to create is responsible for its individual task. Remember carefully, each and every component which we are creating is responsible for a task for an individual task, and each and every component won't do the same job. Remember carefully, you know, the component register what it will do, the component login what it will do. Login functionality is different, register functionality is different, right? So each and every component which we are creating is responsible for its individual work, and for its individual task, individual work, individual functionality, for its individual individual functionality, individual task, individual work, whatever it may be, you want, you can write it. And a component is nothing but simply a file. A component is nothing but simply a JS file, and simply a file, that's all, right? Okay. Each and every component which we are creating should be saved in SRC folder, and okay, right, which we are creating. Now you can see I'm writing one more point here. So each and every component which we are creating should be saved in SRC folder. Every file should be saved in the following location only. So any file you can create, you have to kept into SRC folder only, Andy. Okay, na? SRC folder only. So every component file should, what is the extension of the component, Andy? .js, Andy. Every component file have an extension called .js. Okay, right. The extension of the JS file, the extension of the component file is .js, and it should be end with .js. For example, so I'm writing welcome.js. Okay, now welcome.js or some sample.js, such a manner, right? Okay. Did you observe here? Every component name, component is nothing but a file, kada? Right. Okay. Now you can write one more point here. Every component name should starts with capital letter and D. Capital letter LETTR, as like above. You can see every starts with and D, starts with capital letter. Remaining may be lowercase or uppercase, I don't bother. But every component which we are creating should start with capital letter. Welcome.js W capital, sample.js S capital. If you can go to here app.js, can you see A capital? A capital here, app.js, there is an A capital. So whatever it may be, it's a predefined, it may be user defined, right? They're following one naming convention. It's mandatory, and okay, now, right? One more thing, this is very, very important. What is the name of the file, Andy? For example, if your name of the file is welcome, right? Name of the file is welcome.js. Okay, this is the file you created, and then the component name also should be welcome, అండి. అంటే మీరు క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నారు, you are creating a file కదా. So whatever the logic you're writing, you can see in the app.js. Can you see what is my component name, what is my file name, అండి? App.js. The function name also should be app, అండి. Component name and the file name should be matched, అండి. Write the point, very, very important point this is, right? Component name and file name should match it, and should match it. It's very, very important. SHOULD should match it. Both should be matched, and if you have any problem here, that won't work. For example, you are creating a file and you are providing the name some other different, it won't work, and the name of the component and the file name should be same, and the component name and file name should match it. If anything wrong, it won't work for you, seriously says. Okay, this is very important, check this carefully. Name of the component, I will show you a small thing here. For example, you are creating a file called welcome.js. okay, this is the name of the file you created, and in the file we have to write some logic kada. Nothing but it's a function. Actually, I'm creating a function test. It's open close, and is it valid? Is it valid? It is definitely, it will never valid, Andy. So the thing you need to do here, it should go with the welcome only. Name of the file and the name of the function should be same. Function is nothing but a component, Andy. Everything is a component, right? Now the thing here, okay, we got some basics of the component creation. Wait for some time. We have two types of components, Andy. We have two types of components. What are the two types of components, if you can ask me? One is functional component, one is a functional component, and one more is a class component, Andy. Class component. What is a class? We know. What is a function? And that too also we know, right? So functional component and class component. What is a function? What is a class? We know. A function is always used for building reusable logics. Whatever the logic you feel that is going to be reusable, we can keep into our things and we can reuse wherever you want. That is a function. What is a class, Andy? A class is a collection of properties and collection of methods kada. So what a class, Andy? Class will always group something together. What it will group something? The class is grouping the properties and methods. Properties are nothing but the variables and the methods are nothing but the functions, Andy. Right? How can we create a functional component? You are able to see this is the functional component now. This is the functional component you created. Okay, actually here we have a component with the name called app.js, and I just want to write one point here also. Generally, we have a component is created automatically while React installation is completed. I mean, with the React installation, you are getting one default component. The default component is nothing but app.js, and you didn't create it, right? So this was created by the React itself, right? So this is called a root component. What is a root component? Root component, right? Okay, so we will see that too also. First of all, what is a functional component?
Sir,
How can we
so
create a functional component? So we need to check it, and first of all, functional and class component, right? You know arrow functions, right? We know arrow functions. What is an arrow function? Or else you know
sir,
variable as a
component
function
will
also
have
we
only
know.
component will have only one function, sir. Then because the name and the function name should be same, means there can be only one function, right?
Yes, one function only. We will have one function only. Inside this, we can create some other functions also.
Okay, okay.
One
Main function will
component,
be
one
only one.
function. Main
Okay,
function will be there. Inside that main function, we can create some other functions. I will tell you how can we work on this thing.
okay,
We
okay.
have only one major function. In that one major function, we will create some other functions. For example, I will create one function here, some other function here. I want to call the function into my function, app function. So we can do like this also. I will explain you class and functional component in a differential manner. So that you will understand what. See, we have two components. People may ask us, sir, why we need two components, sir? One is a class component, one is a functional component. Is it necessary? You can use anyone actually. Which one you are flexible? Class, you can use class. Or else you are flexible with functional component, you can use functional component. Some people will ask us, sir, which is the mostly used one, sir? Functional component or class component in the real time? As of my knowledge, functional component is the most used one because it's very easy. Class component means you should know the class basics, constructor, inheritance, so everything you should know. That's why I don't know why the people are mostly using the functional components in the real time. Okay, but anyhow, we will check it, and it's not a problem. Don't worry. Right. So this is the file we have. Right. And the rules and regulations for this, and this is the rules and regulations. Right. So here we seen. Okay. For example, functional component, and first let me write a functional component. It's nothing but what is a component you seen just now, but the a component is nothing but a task or work, and now we can define this task or work in two ways: by you creating a function, by creating a class. Now what I want to do, functional components, you just seen this function. Okay, let me do one thing, Andy. This is my file called welcome.js, Andy. Okay, my file called welcome.js. In this file, you have to write function welcome, Andy. Try to see this is a welcome function. If you want to display any output, Andy, by using this welcome component, see, remember carefully, every component should return, Andy. RUTURN, return. That's all. In this, you can hit enter. We can write all the HTML you required. Do tag open, do tag close. In the return with the functionality. See, this is very important. This is the basic you have to understand, right? So every function, you know how to create a function. Every functional component, every class component will have a return statement to return the HTML output, Andy. You have to do like this only. In JavaScript we can do like this, but React have a special case here. Every component, that may be a functional component, that may be a class component, it should have return statement. Okay, in the return parenthesis I'm going to write some HTML code. Whatever the HTML you written here, this HTML will be displayed in the browser window only. Now you can see I'm going to take one h1 tag open, h1 tag close. Welcome to ROM, I'm writing something like this, welcome to React, whatever it may be, you can write it. But once the component is created, this is the functional component, and this is a way of creating component. Now you can see what we can do. We have to export it, and without this you can do export default, default, default welcome. Why we have tried like this? This is the file we created. In the file we kept the following code, and after that what we are doing, we are writing export default welcome. If we can export it, then only we can import wherever you want. What is a component? And a component is simply says reusable block of the code. And simply I want to write one more point here. A component is a component is a reusable block of code. And that's all, block of code, reusable block of code. Lot of meanings are there for a component. What is a component? A component is simply a reusable block of code. Wherever you want, we can reuse it. That's the purpose of component, and it's a reusable block of code. Wherever you want, we can reuse it. So for that reason, what we need to do, every component, you can get a class component, you can get a functional component. Whatever the component may be, that is a component. Component means it's a reusable block of code. What is the component here? Class or function, whatever it may be. Component means blindly you can go, a component is a reusable block of code. Wherever you want, we can reuse it. So if you want to reuse that component, definitely you have to write export statement, Andy. If you're not writing export statement, this component is not going to be reusable. Wherever you want to reuse, you should write export default welcome. So now you can see, in this is the file you written this code in the welcome.js. I want to access this code in the app.js, Andy. We have to import there in the app.js. Now let me show you guys here, all of you. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create one component. Every component should be created where? In src na publica src folder. This is the src folder. Right click and new file on src folder. Otherwise you can see here in the top we have new file and new folder and refresh, something is there. If you can click this also, new file will be created. W capital and D, because file name should start with capital letter, right? Welcome.js and D. Okay, welcome.js file is created. So you have to define something inside of it, right? Let me define something called function. What is the name of the function, Andy? What is the name of the file name? The function name is also should same, Andy. Welcome. Yes, this is what you have to do. This is the function created now. Yes, we created the function. In this, if you want to display an output, Andy, we have to return, right? In this return statement we can write something called div. Whatever the thing I written, you can take div, or without div also we can write, no problem. Later we can talk about this completely. This is called JSX actually, right? So this is going to be welcome to React. Okay, right, done, Andy. Your component is created. Once component created, we need to write export default. What is the name of the component? Welcome, Andy. This is very important, semicolon. Right, your file is ready. So how can I see the output, Andy? Welcome to React, can I see the output here? No, you can go and refresh the page. Are you, oh, this is welcome to React is from somewhere, right? Okay, welcome to React from welcome file. Okay, let me write, the text was like this, welcome to React from welcome file and welcome component. Let me write like this, welcome component, or simply this is a welcome component, this is a welcome component. That's all, right? Are you able to see this is welcome component? You are not able to see. What you are able to see, welcome to React, this was written in the app.js. Can you see? This is the app.js you written here, Andy. Now it's a time to know, you created a file, right? How can I load this file? You know, right? Every file will be application flow like this, Andy. Anything you want to do, this is going to become like this. So what index.js is doing, app dot only. So in this app, actually this app is called as a root component, Andy. whatever the component we are creating, that component will be inserted into the root component. So component NENT component. The component you created is going to be kept under root component. So the welcome component is not coming output, right? So you can render one component at a time. I'm rendering one component in the browser window, but this should be come to app.js because app.js is the root component. Remember, what is the meaning of root component? What are all the components you guys are creating? I don't know. But every component you created should be kept into the root component only. App.js is the root component I told you, right? Now you can see after the image, now I'm going to write something called welcome, 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 and hit enter. The component will be imported automatically. Can you see here? Import welcome from welcome component, and welcome is imported here. Remember, any component you can create. So once this component is created, you want to include into app.js now. So now you can see import into app.js, right? We went to app.js, right? Everything, every component you created, this should become like this as an element, and you know, right? What is this called actually? It's a call a tag. In the tag we can keep some tag name, but every component you created will be come like an element, and this is an element. That is what exactly, how many times you want to call it. So for example, I call one time, right? You can save this component, you can go and refresh the page. Now you can see this is welcome component, and you're getting output now, right? So if you want to call this component 4 or 5 times, now you can call this. Now you will get the output as the same. That's a reusable, and every component is going to be reusable. Remember, just I had given a basic idea of creating a component and how to add that component. Every component, for example, now you can create one more component called test component, and test component also should come here. And now you can see test.js is the component I am creating. In this test.js I'm writing function T capital test, and this is the function. Here you can return simply RETU and return, oh, return. So here I'm writing h1 tag open, h1 tag close, only one, right? Parenthesis is not required if it is a one element. Earlier we have div and something h1, right? So this is test component. Later I will explain you on the JSX actually, right? So once test component is created, will it executed automatically? No, it should be every component which we created, it should be exported, and export default, default default test. Otherwise it cannot. Now if you want to add the component here, you have to load as like a test, test like an element, and this is the element. You can do like this also. This is a self-closing tag now. You can open close like this also, Andy, like an element. Generally we know how can we create an element. Actually we can create an element called div open div close now. Sometimes some elements are there, we can do like this also, right? Self-closing, this is a self-closing, and this is going to be the thing. The same welcome component we can add like this. If you don't want, you can add like this also, and both are same. Welcome open, welcome close, like in a tag open tag close. Every component which we are created, wherever you can create, if you want to bring it, go to app.js. In the app.js we can link like this, Sandy, either this way, either this way. First of all you have to import. Without import it, we can't do anything. So that's the reason. So the components we are creating, where in src, they're all going to be imported into app.js. Why they are imported into app.js? Because app.js is a root component. Index.js, you kept the component name, right? Can I keep some other component here, tests or something like this? Can you keep a welcome component here? But one component should be maintained as a root component. All the components are going to be merged here, Andy. Okay, now keep it in mind. If you don't want, if you want to add one more component here, now you can see I'm adding test component. Actually you can see test component I'm taking. Test component open, test component close. You can check this, and the output will come again, right? You can see one more time the output is coming here, and this is a test component. Already we have seen the output, but this is not required. But in the index.js we will never mess up this, Sunday. I mean mess up in the sense, every component we will never, always in this file we can keep app.js only. In the app.js, what are the components you created, we will include like this, Sandy, like an element, like an element. This is the component test you created, this is the component welcome you created, like this. How we will use HTML elements in the same manner every component we will use in this file only. So every component will be created, it will be go like this. Check this carefully. Whatever the points I given here, just I'm sending you these points in the chart window, and keep these points and try to practice. Okay, and tomorrow I will talk about the functional component, I will talk about class component in very detail. So it's not completed yet, so many things are there to discuss, right? That I will explain you tomorrow. Class component is not completed, functional component is not completed. Just I given the basic how to create a file, how to save the file, how to run the file. That's what we see. Tomorrow we'll talk about in very detailed manner, and class component as well as functional component. Both we can discuss tomorrow only. Okay, na? Right.